So with COVID, like everybody else, and we're all sick of talking about it, we've all had to pivot, and a large portion of my business has now become video, contrary to the iPhone 12 that I'm recording on now. But what's the difference for audio in recording with a place like this compared to a place like this? So the first challenge that I hear most people talk about that are not in the audio engineering field is just that everybody forgets about audio and they don't want it to be important, and it's really easy to screw up. For me, it's being a little bit arrogant about audio and thinking I'm going to have it under control, and if something goes wrong, I'm going to be able to fix it in post. And boy, was I wrong. For something like this, it's mic placement. What do you use? Do you use an on-camera shotgun mic? I've had the best luck with lav mics. So I have one you'll hear here. It's taped to my chest under my clothing using a moleskin sandwich. And I've found that you actually get some like chest reverberation, but that's not something that I want to be able to do with like interview subjects and that kind of thing. In that instance, I'm mostly using a clip-on, but then wind becomes a problem. In this kind of configuration, wind is actually really well controlled. It's not really windy today, but I've recorded audio in very windy situations like this, and it's been just fine. How do you make audio easy? The easiest way that I thought would be to just record right in the camera. But then when you get multiple camera setups and all that kind of stuff, that becomes an issue. And then, do you record audio separately or do you record it in camera? If you record it separately, how are you going to sync audio up? With all of these problems, there's possible solutions, and all those solutions come with problems of their own. Just like in the recording studio, there's all kinds of instruments that you're going to be recording. Sometimes you need Foley, sometimes you're recording a person and it's really quick. You get, seconds to set it up. Other times you actually get some time. You're recording in vehicles, you're recording outside a lot, you're recording in controlled environments sometimes. So you have to be versatile and have a lot of kind of different tools to deal with different environments. And you have to be able to carry almost everything that you're using on your back. So at first I decided I was going to record all audio and camera, and I could deal with the noise and the bad preamps and low quality microphones and all of that kind of stuff. And that got old pretty quick. The first thing that happened with it was when I was doing multi-camera shoots where I've minimum of 2 cameras going a lot of the time. So you have audio on which camera and how do you sync those up? After a while of that, I decided, okay, I'm going to record audio separately. So what am I going to use, how am I going to carry it, and how am I going to sync it up to whatever video I'm doing on whatever camera I'm using. So I decided to use the Zoom F6. It is a pretty set it and forget it, not a totally set it and forget it kind of system, but it's really good. It uses 32-bit float, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's super cool. For gain levels, a lot of times you do make mistakes or you're going really quick, and it lets you really alter things in post. The other thing is it gives me 6 inputs. I rarely use 6 all at once. I use 2 to 3. Generally, I'll have 2 lavs and then a shotgun microphone that I also have as wireless. The shotgun microphone lets me do interviews with people that are really quick, and I can point it and keep it mostly out of frame. And the lav microphones will let me have a lav so I can record myself and put a lav on somebody else. But there's another really cool thing that the Zoom F6 does, and that gives me word clock. Tentacle Sync is the solution that I want to use for word clock, and I have some on order, but they're on back order and will be for quite some time. So I need an A and a B camera, so they sell a 2-pack of their word clock transmission units and sync units. But I also found that I could use a wireless lav system to send out word clock from the Zoom F6 and keep everything in sync. And I bought 2 of those systems so that I'll actually have 4. I'll be able to use the Tentacle Sync ones and these wireless lav ones, which I'm using the wireless lav one right now. I'm using the Hollyland Lark 150 for my lav system, which I found to be really good. And I just got into the XVive or XVive wireless system to use a standard studio Pencil Condenser mic with a dead cat that I was given as part of a brand thing. But there's another really cool thing that the Zoom F6 allowed that I didn't totally get. I thought maybe it was going to be cool, but it actually worked, and here's what it is. I needed to take the process of writing, recording, and mixing a song down from the 4 days that it normally is to create something in about 4 hours. That's what I can usually make a budget make sense for. The first few, it was like 8 hours, then 6, and now I'm down to 4 hours. And I use the Zoom F6 for all of it. I use my laptop with Logic built-in drum sounds, which I'm going to do a separate video on how to get killer drum sounds in Logic very quickly using their built-in sounds, and then recording guitars with amp simulators, and sometimes I record bass, and a lot of times I use the electronic bass lines as well, and getting very, very fast at that so that I can have music like what you're listening to for an entire video. The Zoom F6 has become the new console. So I'm in right direct sunlight here, but the system looks a little goofy. We're not out here to win a fashion contest. We're out here to get the job done right. And for me, these are the right tools for it. I'm going to aim the interview mic at myself. I'm going to switch back and forth. This is a CAD simple pencil condenser microphone with a dead cat on it. And I'll switch back and forth between the lav. And this is a good experiment for me because I'm not sure which I prefer. There is handling noise, so you have to keep still when you're holding the CAD mic. But this is a mic that you can get into the places, and I usually kind of go on the bottom corner of the frame, aiming up at the person, and you get the mic positioned right. You can really hear it. I use headphones to monitor. That's really important to me when you're recording right into a camera. Oftentimes the camera is so far away you either need a long cord or wireless. It's just kind of a nightmare. This entire system is wireless. I'm wired from my headphones to the Zoom F6, but I'm finding that it works really well. It is something to carry, and my interview setup is this audio system that I can carry in the sling bag. And then my A camera, which is on a monopod with really good feet on it, so it'll stand up like a tripod basically to watch it. And then a second camera with a tripod, so I got a camera in each hand, this on my back, and I can get almost anything done super high quality with it, as opposed to the iPhone that I'm using for this, and testing, because that's what I use my own videos for, is testing things that I may or may not do with clients. We'll see how this video turns out. So with Word Clock, I can sync everything up with the Tentacle Sync app. That works really good. The other thing is now you have to hit record. You have to power on a ton of things. Wireless lav to wear, wireless lavs for Word Clock, the Zoom F6 itself, and the camera, and all those kinds of things. The Zoom F6, one of the things about it, it has insane battery life, like 8 hours maybe. I've never ever run out. So I actually usually hit record and just leave it recording all day. I'll turn off the lavs, but I'll leave them on for long extended periods of time too. And then once in a while I miss something. I forget to hit record on either audio or video or something. I've done that a couple of times today shooting this. But in general, it's working well, and I'm building my own protocols to get it every time. When I get the Tentacle Sync Word Clock, then I'll be able to leave audio running the whole time and the Word Clock stuff running all the time, because it has really good battery life too. I don't recommend this system for everyone. If you're an audio nerd and you really need something to work, I think it's awesome, and it's what works for me. So this is one of the audio challenges, recording in a vehicle, and this is what it sounds like with that same lav mic on, and I'm on a gravel road, about the worst situation a person could be in to record audio. I've hiked my seatbelt up a little bit so that I'm not hitting that microphone, and I've not been happy with any in-vehicle recordings, especially. You can hear all the gravel and all that kind of stuff. But when it's appropriate and the story calls for it, it does make a lot of sense to be recording in a vehicle, like I did with Susan, who I work work with at Rose Ridge Waste Management.
As a pilot project, we're wanting to find out what our reuse options are for our waste water.
And that particular clip with Susan was just with a little shotgun microphone plugged right into the camera. It was usable audio. It made it into the video. I wasn't super happy with it, and that's why I started to go to some of these other solutions. In the future, what I would do if I knew I was going to be working with her all day is clip a lav onto her and or just keep my boom mic around.